we're up to. But first, Republicans smell blood in the water. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is taking fire for saying the CIA lied to Congress about waterboarding. And House Minority Leader John Boehner is turning up the heat on Speaker Pelosi.
Lying to Congress is a crime. Purposefully misleading Congress is a crime. And if the Speaker is accusing the intelligence community of lying to her or purposefully misleading her, then she ought to present that evidence, turn it over to the Justice Department, have them prosecuted. And if that is not the case, then I think she owes our intelligence community an apology.
So is the White House standing firmly behind Speaker Pelosi? You decide.
Some have suggested that Speaker Pelosi should come forward with evidence of her allegation that the CIA misled her. Does the President agree that she should have some evidence?
You know, I appreciate the opportunity to get involved in this on Friday, and I declined, and I haven't changed my mind on Monday.
Does the President have confidence in Speaker Pelosi?
He does.
CIA Director Leon Panetta fired off a public statement on Friday, but today danced around the topic.
I do believe in the responsibility of the Congress, not only to oversee our operations, but to share in the responsibility of making sure that we have the resources and capability to help protect this country. The only way that's going to work is if both parties are working in the same direction. If they start to use these issues as political clubs to beat each other up with, then that's when we not only pay a price, but this country pays a price.
So should Speaker Pelosi resign? Join us live is Congressman Pete Hoekstra, top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee. Nice to see you, sir.
Hey, good to be here. Thank you.
You wrote a letter on May 14th last week to the director of the CIA. Why did you write that letter to him?
I think we really need to clear the air. There's a lot of information that has not been shared. The memorandum of the meetings that we've had, the meeting notes getting ready. You know, what was the intent of the CIA when they went into the meetings? What did they want to brief us on?
I'm with you on getting all the documents. Their intent going in may not be as irrelevant to me because they may not have followed through, but any sort of notes contemporaneous with or written right afterwards.
Right.
Are we going to get those notes? Because that's fair to Speaker Pelosi, I assume. She wants it aired, I assume. Or,
I hope so. I think Speaker Pelosi has said she wants it out. The Majority Leader has said he wants it out. I want it out. I was the first one to ask for those documents to come out. That decision will ultimately be made by the President as to when he will release these notes. He's released a lot of other stuff, the legal opinions. He released those 4 weeks ago. This stuff fits hand in hand. There's nothing in these notes. I reviewed them 2 weeks ago. There's nothing in these notes that I believe warrants the documents to remain classified.
Did you see the full universe of documents relating to it? I guess September of '02 would be the most important meeting that we focused on. Are you satisfied that you've seen all of them, or do you think there are others?
I've seen some. I don't know whether they're all there. You know, I've seen a sampling of them. I've seen the memorandum to the file that the CIA says is the complete set. Whether more will emerge later on, I don't know.
What do you make of former Senator Bob Graham of Florida, who's known for keeping diaries, and apparently, according to the CIA notes, he was present at a certain number of briefings, yet his notes, he keeps these diaries, the same thing. He was out of town for at least one of them.
Well, I think what happened in this case, and I'm not sure, but it appears that the CIA may have gone to Bob Graham and said, we may have records of you being at these certain meetings, and he came back. I think the list that we got from the CIA only had him in one meeting. I don't think it had him in 4 meetings, so I think they reconcile the differences. I'm sure that at some point in time he was in some of these meetings.
Why can't we just get this resolved? Why can't the President pick up the phone and say, Leon, I appointed you director of the CIA. You know, let's get these, as long as they don't jeopardize an ongoing covert operation or hurt someone. I mean, because it's unfair to the American people, it's unfair to the Congress, unfair to the Speaker. You know, at least we ought to see these things.
That's right. The President can do it. Leon can do it very, very quickly. There's no reason these documents shouldn't come out. But I think the bigger issue, Greta, is how we ever got into this mess. What happened here is that that Speaker Pelosi doesn't want to take accountability and responsibility for the actions that she took in 2002, 2003. First blaming the CIA. They didn't tell me. Well, then they didn't tell me everything. Then, well, they lied to me, and now, you know, Bush lied.
I mean, you may be right, but I think the right thing to do is to get the facts before we sort of reach that conclusion. And with all due respect to sort of everybody involved is that the CIA, who maybe they've done enormous work in protecting us, but they've also on their watch, we've had 9/11, we've had the embassies in East Africa, we've had Pakistan doing testing on weapons, I mean, we've had the weapons of mass destruction. I mean, so the CIA has not been perfect. I mean, they may have done great work we don't know about, and they have to keep it secret, so it really behooves us to get all the facts out.
It helps getting all the facts out. Those are two different issues, one of which is the performance on the threats and keeping America safe. The other is the accusation that the Speaker made that they lied.
Except I hammered the Department of Homeland Security because there was that horrible publication where they named people as terrorists. And I thought to myself, and she said it was an accident that those things got out. And I thought to myself, if you can't keep the straight in getting them out, how can I be satisfied you can keep our borders safe? So, I mean, in all fairness, is that, you know, I think it is not beyond the pale for me to have some question about the documents I haven't seen that the CIA might have.
But I don't think that you can go after them and.
I'm not going after them.
No,
I'm asking for the. I'm not going to. Believe me, I'm not going down that. I'm not
You've
going
learned
to.
the lesson that getting into a fight with the CIA is a bad idea. But yeah.
I just want to see the facts that don't hurt anything, you know, so that we can be fair to everybody. And if Speaker Pelosi is wrong, you know, she ought to get, the cuff on the side of the head or whatever has to be done. But
I think you do go back and you break it into two different issues. One is the performance, how well they're doing their job. The second is whether they have misled or lied to Congress. Two very, very different issues.
All right. Now, there's one thing that Greta Wire blogger wrote me, and I agree with it, but it sort of bugged me as well, is that in February of '03, is that instead of Speaker Pelosi going to a briefing, it was a staff member. Is that done routinely, that staff members? Because I was horrified that I thought that it was done by only members of Congress. Do you send staff?
No, I don't send staff.
Do some people send staff to these briefings?
No, but remember, sometimes staff goes to briefings. But remember, the Speaker, the minority leader, they get briefed every week. So sometimes the staffers are in the meeting, but they may come back and they may have come back to the Speaker, which is exactly what the staffer said. I came back, I told the minority leader, this is what we got briefed on. That following week, she probably had a briefing with the CIA where she could have said, hey, I want to get into detail and understand exactly what you're doing on enhanced interrogation techniques. These briefings with the Speaker and the minority leader happen every week.
All right, well, I just think when it's classified, I'd like to, maybe it's none of my business, but I'd like to see only members of Congress have it and not their staff. But anyway, maybe.
Okay,
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is with us here in Washington.